resources to battle cruisers, he won't be able. Actually, they're not producing battle cruisers quite yet. I don't know why Flash is not producing battle cruisers. I wonder if he was waiting and hasn't noticed yet. But I was suspecting him to be producing battle cruisers immediately, and he is not. I think the commentators are kind of confused by that as well. The observers, and he's still producing SCVs, so it's not like he's completely lost track of this game or anything. He's still playing quite well, Roboman, and he's reinforcing that area with more and more forces. I guess he really wants to keep this base, because I think if he produced battle cruisers, he would have to pretty much sacrifice that base, and I guess that's something that he does not want to do quite yet, or if at all. He's trying to maybe just get an advantage in the ground forces first, but that's going to be difficult for him to do from this position. He's not in a great spot to really break out of this. It's kind of a stalemate position. It's kind of a position where whoever just puts more troops into the area is going to win, and I don't think either player really is going to be able to get an advantage on the other if there's no pretty drastic change in strategies. I gotta think that both players have got to be getting kind of sick of just watching ineffectual attacks. It looks like Flash is actually going to go for a ground attack here in the middle of the map, going to try and get rid of some of these chairs, get rid of some of the map control that Flash had established, and Flash dropping some forces into the area, going to try and counter this, and a huge dropship force coming in for Firebat Hero, and it's dropped a lot of forces. Flash coming in with a counter drop of far less forces. I wonder if Firebat Heroes noticed this, that those dropships just do not seem to have a lot of units, and Firebat Hero has established some sort of more control over the middle of the map and established a little bit more power. He can definitely go and hit the base at the 5 o'clock position and possibly take that down. He definitely has an avenue of attack there. However, Flash uses the high ground inside of the base at the bottom right main. He could defend that position, but it's going to be very difficult for him. It's not exactly a great spot for him. And now we're seeing Flash's first-person view. This should be very, very interesting. He does have 10 frickety-frick dropships, which is absolutely ridiculous. He's using these Glaives to try and get him some range, and we still haven't seen him go to produce any battle cruisers, which is so surprising. And looking at his side count, it looks like he's at like something like 170 or so, 180 maybe, and now we're seeing Firebat Hero's first-person map, and you can see that he definitely has a little bit more map control going on here, and it looks like he's 180, 190, so he's got a 170, 180, so he's pretty close to maxed out as well. And he's seeing he's trying to push on that base at the 3 o'clock position some more, at the same time establishing some map control. Firebat Hero just finding things to do, always very, very active here. But he's coming in with more forces to the right side of the map. Where are your battle cruisers, Flash? Why did you produce those starports with those control towers if you're not going to produce battle cruisers? Where are they? That is the big question for me right now. Both players had pretty good stockpiles of resources in the bank, so that is not really an issue here either. And it looks like Flash is going to retake this refinery, going to start mining again, but still those starports not producing anything, which is just so freaking surprising to me. And Flash is going to get rid of some of the tanks that were harassing the northern position of that 3 o'clock base. Going to try and give him some more breathing space. Maybe make Firebat Hero play a little bit defensively as well. We've seen Flash. Flash really is one of the best, if not the best, player at playing defense in the league. Regardless of race, I think he's the best at just defending his positions, and he's really created a whole game style against other races based upon that style of playing defense and then pushing out when he's prepared, and it's been so successful for him. And even here in TVT, where he's kind of on the back foot on the right side of the map, he's not being the aggressor for a large portion of this game. For the last 10 minutes or so, he has not really been the aggressor. He's been mostly the defender, and he's done a good job of it. And now Firebat Hero coming in with yet another drop on the 3 o'clock base, and this time he might actually be successful, as Flash did not have dropships loaded up with forces to really defend the area. And I think finally Firebat Hero has stopped that base from mining and has taken that base mostly down. The command center is still alive, but I don't think Firebat Hero is going to be able to work his way up that ramp. That's going to be a whole other chore for Firebat Hero. That's going to be that's going to take a monumental effort for him to do that. Flash is loading up those dropships, and those dropships this time are going to be quite full. There's going to be a pretty heavy drop inside of those forces, depending upon if he goes for the attack, or it looks like he's actually contemplating being defensive, or this could be an attack onto the 2 o'clock position, and it might be a counter. No, it's not going to be a counter to that position. It looks like he's just going to try and maintain this base and try and make it virtually impregnable to Firebat Hero's efforts. And Firebat Hero, I think, is pretty happy with this right now. He's got to be pretty happy. He's up 1 base, mining, and he's got pretty solid control of where Flash is going to expand next. So that is a pretty good position for him. And Flash still hasn't produced any battleships, by the way, if you were curious. He's just produced that physics lab to produce a physics lab and built starports with control towers just to do it. And it looks like he's not going to try and get that into any sort of advantage. Firebat here coming in with a small drop here, going to take out some of the extraneous forces for Flash and going to establish more control over this natural expansion as well. Flash is going to have to move that command center, otherwise he could lose it, and that could be really, really bad for Firebat, for Flash. Well, I shouldn't say really, really bad. I'm sure he has the resources to cope with it, but it's going to be very annoying for him. And we are getting into very, very late game here. A lot of bases are mined out. For Flash, his main, his natural are both mined out. It looks like his third and fourth bases are low, if not close to mined out. Firebat here, his main and natural mined out. His third and fourth bases on the left side of the map also are close. I believe his third base is mined out. His fourth base has got to be close. So both players are starting to run, I shouldn't say run out of resources. I'm sure they both still have huge banks, and they are still mining off of a couple of bases. But it's getting more and more close to that area where you've just got to be very, very economical with your gameplay and with your resources. And that's where battleships really become extra powerful because of their Yamato cannon. It's one of the few resources for Terran players that is rechargeable throughout a game, and it looks like that starport is finally producing something. I hope it's battle cruisers, and most other weapons in the Terran arsenal are not rechargeable, cannot be reused, like the tank. You know, a lot of these forces in the TVT, you sacrifice a lot of forces to do a lot of damage. It's very much there's huge trade-offs going on. So battle cruisers really allow you to pass that up entirely and just do damage without receiving a lot in return. Hence the reason why they are so expensive and are such a late game unit. But I think Flash is slowly transitioning into that. Finally, he's producing out of one starport at least. So I hope he starts producing out of the other ones. Yeah, it looks like he's producing out of the other ones now. So he is going to start building a battlecruiser fleet, and that could really give him a pretty big advantage if he can build maybe like 5 or 6 of them before he reveals his hand, kind of like the same number that you would see Protoss players wait for with their carriers. They can do a lot of damage and surprise, and we'll see whether that battlecruiser is being sent to the forefront, sent to the attack immediately, or if he's saving it. I think he should save it personally, and it looks like opposite him, Firebat here, rather than using a science facility to produce a physics lab and battlecruisers, is produce a covert ops, and he's going to be going for some nukes here. So we're going to be seeing nukes from one side, from the Firebat loser side, and then we're going to be seeing a Flash going for battlecruisers, and I don't see any nuke silos going up quite yet. Still a lot of comsats up. It'll be quite easy for him to destroy those and produce his own. He's got ghosts, and I wonder actually. Oh, shoot, Firebat here coming in for a huge drop at the bottom right, and a counter drop coming in from Flash as well. This is going to be huge. There's so many forces in here. This is pretty much the entire armies for both players. Firebat here trying to get up the ramp as well, and SCV's coming up the line. It looks like Firebat here actually is going to be able to get successful, and a battlecruiser coming into play for Flash as well. And is it going to be successful? Firebat Hero has a position on that ramp, but he hasn't quite been able to move up. I almost wonder whether that ghost is for lockdown. If that ghost is for lockdown, that could be pretty ridiculous as well. If you've ever watched Boxer's Ghost who plays, you will have seen him lock down tons of battlecruisers with just a bunch of ghosts, which is quite amazing. And Goliath's trying to take down that battlecruiser, but that battlecruiser has a ton of HP. It's probably in the low yellows right now, maybe the reds, but it's still alive and can be repaired by the SCVs from the command center in the area. So those Goliaths really didn't do too much for Firebat Hero. Kind of wasteful. It was a good idea trying to take down that battlecruiser. That could definitely have helped him out, but unfortunately was unable to do so. So he's gonna have to rebuild his forces here. And until we see a nuke silo, I think we kind of have to assume that ghost is actually for lockdown. He's gonna be moving into that position with his ghost to try and take those battlecruisers down that way. And we're seeing Firebat loading up a lot of dropships with huge tank forces, and now we're seeing Flash's first-person view as well, and he's going to try and retake this base at the 3 o'clock expansion, and I think he's actually going to be able to do so